What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I'm just testing this out right now. Let's see if anyone can hear me. Go ahead and test this mic out. Let me see here. Just wait a few minutes before I go ahead and start the stream. But yeah, just want to go ahead and say, hey, welcome everyone, and thanks. All right, let me go ahead and start. Go ahead and I'm just testing everything right now. So pretty much I want to go ahead and start this stream out. Just say thank you for everyone for joining when you can. Uh do another stream by myself, and I'm gonna try to keep this more consistent going forward. I was trying to do like a Wednesdays and Fridays, but we'll see how that schedule goes. But topic today, if anyone is interested, is going to be talking about 8K and see if it's still relevant, still worth it. And 2025 is coming up soon, and there's been some question about TVs that is it really worth it to get 8K. So those are some of the things I'm going to be talking about today. Also, I'm going to be talking about some sales that's going to be going on for Black Friday. There's a lot of like creators like KG and Stop the FOMO went ahead and posted some videos on some good discounts, and I'm gonna go ahead and do that in the stream as well too. Just to show where the hottest deals out there, especially when it comes to OLED and mini LED, or especially for people who are budget friendly. And then we're gonna go ahead and talk about more about gaming. I did talk about the PS5 Pro, but I'm gonna probably do a little bit more deeper into the PS5 Pro, and that's one of the reasons why I want to bring up 8K. But other than that, just want to say thanks everyone for joining the live session. So one thing I just wanted to kind of go over is that is 8K even really relevant today? Our 8K topic started to come up again because the PS5 Pro just recently came out a couple weeks ago, and there is a new setting in the PS5 Pro where you do have the option to enable 8K for eligible TVs. Now, there's not a lot of games that use this feature at the moment. The only games that I know of at this moment is Callisto Protocol and some few other games. But right now, it seems like people are starting to get a little bit excited about 8K TVs. So now the question is that should you go ahead and get an 8K TV? Those are some of the things that I am still on the fence on. But before I go ahead and do that, I want to go ahead and shout out, say, hey, what's going on, Dave? How's it going? You still got the Sony, what was it, 8K Z9J? Oh man, you're really bringing that TV. Hold on, we'll see if I could. Looking at that right now, and wow. Okay. So his comment is that I have an 8K, a Z9J. It said it works with 8K computers, no local dimming, no game modes, no nothing. PS5 Pro will not work within 8K either. 8K is a total waste of money. So yeah, I think that's kind of interesting because 8K has been, the 8K crowd started to come in around 2020. You had a lot of manufacturers from Sony, LG, Samsung was a very huge component with it. But over the years, it's starting to build and make 8K TVs. A lot of manufacturers started to drop out, and the only manufacturer that does 8K TVs now is Samsung. And which I find it kind of interesting that all the other manufacturers seems to not be making 8K. And so that's kind of like the question is it really worth it getting the 8K TV now or wait to 2025 or wait to more content to come out? I'm kind of curious to know what everybody thinks in the chat. So far, I'm getting from a couple of people that 8K is not really relevant and it's a waste of money. So I find that kind of interesting on my own. I do want to shout out to Cheap Proven. Let me go ahead and just pull this out too. He said PS5 is Pro is going back to the store for a lot of people. Yeah, so that's a very interesting take too because there's been some issues as well with the PS5 Pro, especially when it comes to certain games. One that I know at the top of my head is Ratchet and Clank, and I think Silent Hill 2, the remake as well, was having some issues as well, and then a few other games that I can't think at the top of my head. But it seemed like the image has been worse on those games, and even the ray tracing hasn't been working like it's supposed to on Ratchet and Clank that it's supposed to advertise. But that's coming from Digital Foundry when it was doing their analysis on there, which I find it kind of interesting because PlayStation was shouting out that the PS5 Pro is supposed to be the system to go to, the professional system, as in where you're supposed to go to if you're looking for the best games. But since it came out, it seemed like certain games who do make the updates for this enhanced version hasn't been the quality hasn't been as great as some people has been taking. And then also too, I still had the PS5 Pro. I'm not going to take that system back. I think prematurely. I think Sony has done. I think they did a poor job as of releasing this console. They on the perspective that they really don't care on certain things, but I do see that the PS5 Pro does have potential, but you just need to have a lot more developers start to utilize the system more. And I think right now that since it just launched a couple weeks ago, um, yeah, there's going to be some hiccups there, and so that's something that I find it kind of interesting with Sony. So I kind of wish they did have a little bit of competition from Xbox, but I think Xbox is not going to come out with their Pro version of the Xbox Series X. So Sony is the only one that came out at the moment. But yeah, it's just yeah, it's some interesting times. So people who do have the PS5 Pro, just I know there's some growing pains with the system, and I think a lot of people were expecting to see a huge drastic difference when it comes from the PS5 and the PS5 Pro, and some of the games that has been released with the enhanced patch on there has been pretty much lackluster. And I know I said that before in my review. I haven't did an official review yet, but when I did my initial impression and when I did my side by side comparison, that I really haven't seen. You see a difference, but you don't see. It's not like a night and day difference. So that's something that the Pro is really catered towards people who are in for the greatest and the latest technology and really doesn't care how much they spend when it comes to that. People just want that little bit more extra uh, power when it comes to that console, knowing that they're getting the best performance that they possibly could for for a gaming system. So I think so those are kind of like the things I think Sony is really catering towards. But before I go in and dive in more about the PS5 Pro and 8K again, I do want to give a shout out to SD. What's going on? Thanks for joining the chat, and appreciate everyone who is on and watching me live. This is my third time doing the stream on my channel. Last time I did had KG on here. He was going to try to stop by in this stream, but we had some scheduling conflicts. So hopefully he'll come back on next stream or depending on how the holidays go. But other than that, thanks SD for joining and watching the stream. But going back to the PS5 Pro, yeah, it just so far the reviews has been lackluster. I find it kind of interesting that we will certainly get some reviews that like the system is really good. Oh, the games are really you can see there's some differences when it comes to Final Fantasy and some handful of games. But when I started to take a look at this, it wasn't too much of a jump when it comes to graphics performance. The only thing I do notice is that they did fix some artifacts on certain games. They also fixed some frame rates when it comes to fast motion and stuff. So those are kind of like little things that I have noticed, but overall, I don't see a huge difference when it comes to the PS5 Pro compared to the PS5. So hopefully Sony will come up with more patches and developers will start to get on the bandwagon as in making more games with enhanced versions. But as of right now, I said this before, I say save your money until Sony start to really start to ramp up and have and other developers start to really utilize the system itself. So, but as of right now, with the price point being $700, that's something I would tell people just to hold off on, especially right now. But besides that, I do want to go ahead and oh, that's pretty funny. Yeah, yes, slumming it with the PS5. Look, the PS5 is a great system. I have no quarrels or qualms with the PS5 when it came out. The only thing that I kind of wish that the PS5 did have at launch is a bigger hard drive. I know you could put SD card, you could put an external hard drive on there and upgrade the hard drive on there, but I kind of wish that they had a bigger hard drive at launch. It was the same thing with the Xbox Series X. They should have done that from the beginning because these games are so big when it comes to the file size, and especially like Call of Duty that take like it was like more than 200 gigs worth of data on depending on what Call of Duty game you get. So it's kind of like those are kind of like the things I kind of wish that Sony and Xbox implemented was a bigger hard drive. One thing I really can't say that as a pro on the PS5 Pro, you do get 2 terabytes internal. So that's something I'm very, very happy with. And I consider that as a huge positive, especially buying that system, even though with the price tag being $700. So that's something that I think that they did a good job on. But other than that, yeah, it's just going to have to take some time. And then also, though, when it comes to the when it comes to the other software portion of it, I think a lot of that, like PSSR, should have been implemented in the PS5 easily. I think they just trying to keep it at the PS5 Pro to have people buy that system, but it could be a limitation due to GPU too. So I'm not here to say the least. Yeah, but going back to the topic of 8K, oh yeah, let me take some other questions too. Um, oh yeah, go blue and stuff. Michigan over there, they're gonna be doing their thing, so we're gonna see how that game goes. Let me go ahead and put this one out here too. But yeah, we're gonna see. Going for Michigan and stuff. So let me go ahead and shout out some more people in the chat just to go ahead and say, wow, actually, I see some people in here. So thanks for everyone for joining and stuff. So appreciate you guys coming on the stream. So going back to 8K, and I just want to kind of like go through some of these topics. One thing I do want to go ahead and run, I do have a screen tab with ratings, so I'm about to go ahead and share that right quick. Give me a second. And transition. I kind of want to go through this whole topic of 8K because I think it's kind of really important to kind of like go over. Let's see if everyone can see my screen first. Yeah, they can see my screen. Perfect. So one thing I'm going through, I looked at ratings videos on QN900D specifically, which I thought was kind of like a interesting review, and they gave it a good review, as in like the performance of the TV. But I think one thing that I found it kind of shocking a little bit is that when it comes to HDR impact compared to the other TVs, that's something that the QN 900D hasn't done a really good job on. And that's something I found it kind of interesting because it's an 8K TV. And let me go through this right quick. When it comes to the HDR brightness, um, I find it kind of interesting, especially when it comes to, yeah, I think this is right around this area here. Yeah, when it comes to HDR impact and HDR brightness, yeah, I find it when looking at the review and looking at ratings review, specifically compared to other TVs, this is something that I found interesting on the Samsung QN900D. That the HDR impact compared to other TVs is a lot less compared to like a Sony or Hisense or a TCL, and even Samsung QN 90D, which I find it kind of interesting because if you're having your flagship as an 8K TV, I think or your flagship TV is just I think it should be performing a lot better than the QN than the lower tier models, and that's something that I found that was kind of interesting compared to when it was doing the comparison with the Bravia 9 and when they did TCL QM8, and they did some comparisons as well with the Hisense UAN. And it just seemed like those TVs are, when it comes to HDR content, is been a lot more impact compared to the QN 900D. Now they did say like when it comes to detail wise, they did a good job specifically, and let me go ahead and get into that detail wise. Give me just a second. Sorry if I'm kind of like scrolling through this right now. Yeah, when it's saying when it comes to like upscaling content, is like looking at the reviews and stuff. It just seemed like it's good, but the question that everybody need to start asking themselves is it really worth the price of that TV? And a lot of times it's just like no, it's not, and just I don't know what they're gonna do for 2005 specifically, for if Samsung is going to release a 8K TV. But I found it kind of interesting more on this topic that I don't know. I just think that 8K TVs are still going to be ways away. I don't know if it's going to take another 2 years or 3 years, but right now I really don't see the value when it comes to 8K TVs. I mean, that may change in 2025. There might be a lot more content, especially Sony may implement more games um, in the future that utilize the 8K features. But it's just right now, just we don't have any content when it comes to movies. We have a couple of games, but the games itself is kind of like, is it really worth it? Um, and especially the price point too, because Samsung is charging a premium for the QN 800D. Okay, so let's go ahead and switch off of 8K because I just wanted to talk about that briefly. Let me know in the comments too if anyone is curious or want to talk about more about 8K, and or if they even thinking about getting an 8K TV. I did do a review on the Samsung, and this is a while ago, QN 900B, a few years back. I thought that TV was decent, but it's just for the price that it was charging for. I really thought that it should be a lot cheaper. It's the same thing now with the QN 900D. I believe that TV is going for. Let me see here. I'm about to bring up Best Buy. Um, Yeah, the TV is still going for a pretty penny. So let me go ahead and share with you guys. And then let me know how you like this new streaming portion of it. I'm trying this for the first time. And I want to see what people's thoughts are on that. Yeah, so I'm looking at the QN900D on Best Buy. It's going for $5,500 for the 8K TV, which, in my opinion, I think it should be a lot cheaper, especially when it comes to the performance compared to the other TVs. Because you're looking at Bravia 9, you're looking at TCL 8, you're looking at Hisense, and even the Samsung QN90D. It's just that this price point right now that they are displaying at, yeah, it's just they charging way too much for this technology. And oh yeah, let me go ahead and give a shout out to CJ. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, AK. Yeah, AK. They selling it for a ridiculous price. I think that the technology, especially now, AK has been out for. They've been out for quite some time. I'm kind of shocked that the price haven't been going down on 8K TV, especially on the Samsung QN 900D. Because when they first launched, they always launched them around $8,000 for an 85-inch, which for me, I think they always shoot themselves in the foot when they launched those TVs at those prices. Because I think the Samsung QN900D, I think those launch prices should be. Yeah, I'm like I said, if they were just coming out with the 2025 version, I think they going with the F model QN900F. I think they should be launching them around maybe. I'm saying I'm being like very conservative. I'm saying $5,000, $4,999 for an 85-inch for an 8K television. But even then, I still think that's a high price because how the way they perform compared to other TVs, especially when you're looking at ratings, review, whoever checked that out, is just like when it comes to all the other criteria, you have all these other TVs are performing the same or even better than the QN900D at a much, much lower price. And so those are kind of like the things that I'm hoping Samsung can listen or hear this, hear me when it comes to the stream or other people who make videos on this. Is that 8K you don't have content, and then the thing is it's still way too expensive for the average consumers. I think the only people that could really utilize the 8K is if you have a high performance PC. But even then, a high performance PC, you only could do so much with the 8K, and I really don't see that there's going to be a lot of people that's going to be utilizing playing games at 8K. Maybe like a few, like a niche type thing. Oh yeah, let me go ahead and shout out everyone in the chat. Appreciate everyone joining the stream. Let me go ahead and say hello to everyone. Uh, Let me see here. I see Dave here, Catherine. How's it going, Catherine? Thank you for joining the stream. Definitely appreciate you joining. Hopefully you enjoy it. Let me see here. Oh yeah, I forgot to do this too. I'm playing around right here. I'm playing with these settings. This is the first time me using this for the first time. Yeah, if you do like the stream, please hit that like too and that subscribe button. I greatly appreciate that as well too. But oh, buddy, man, I appreciate you doing that, man. Let me give a shout out to Buddy, right here. Man, what's going on? Thank you for sharing, showing some love on the stream and stuff. So it's my third time, so I'm a little bit nervous. I'm trying to get these nerves out. But hopefully, as the more I talk and start to warm up to everyone and stuff, hopefully everyone likes it and enjoy the show and stuff. But yeah, I had to talk about some 8K content because it seemed like it's starting to really roll off on here. Hey, just to make sure, I want to do a mic check. Can everyone hear me? Does it sound good? I just want to make sure. everyone can hear me too, because I did some testing. I just want to make sure I don't have no issues like I did on the last stream. But yeah, I just had to talk about 8K. Let me go ahead and go back here. Okay, sounds good. Okay, perfect. All right. Let me go ahead and transition and stuff. But yeah, it's just yeah, going back to the topic of 8K specifically. Yeah, it just seemed like since the PS5 Pro have came out and they got that added setting for the 8K 30, I thought it would be a good topic to kind of like talk about because this year Foundry did some demos of a couple of games that show 8K on the PS5, which PS5 Pro specifically, and I thought it was kind of interesting, and I wanted to kind of like bring that up to everyone on the chat. Uh, the question is like, should people should go out and start buying 8K TVs because now you got a couple of games that has the 8K feature, and to me, I think it's a hard no still because it still has had to wait of some more content, but it's just like I showed like a little bit earlier. Yeah, Samsung is just charging way too much money, especially for these TV for this TV, and especially too some of these reviews that I saw too. They a lot of people said it gave it some really good reviews on the QM900D, but it's just the thing is compared to the other mini LED TVs, and even looking at OLED and QD OLED, it's just like I don't know why Samsung is charging an arm and a leg for 8K television. And so those are kind of like the things that I've just been thinking about. And I want to bring that to the stream and check the chat to see how everyone is their thoughts on it when it comes to 8K. But other than that, I've been talking about 8K for quite some time. And I think I went through all the topics. All right, so let's go on to some sales. Unless anybody have any questions before I go ahead and because I know I've been beating this topic to death on this. All right. Oh, you know what? Let me go ahead and bring this up. So Buddy says that I think the 8K is a sleeper. He said I would sneak up on like the HD and Blu-ray disc. He said I remember people were saying that it wasn't going to be a thing because it was too expensive. I do agree with you to a certain extent, buddy, but I think the only issue that I have with 8K television and even yeah, 8K television just specifically, it's just that you don't have content. I mean, you have some games. I mean, if you had like if you have a PC gaming rig, then yeah, you could play some 8K here and there. But it's just like right now, it's just way too expensive. And and then the other factor too is when it comes to content specifically, if we really want to dive into that, when you go into streaming, man, it's like I don't know if anybody watched the fight with Mike Tyson and and Jake Paul. You saw how terrible that looked. So I could just imagine when they start implementing 8K more, they don't even have the technology yet at this moment to really stream 8K. Let alone we don't even have a disc that even support 8K. So I mean, I could be wrong. Next year they may have a answer to that, as in they're gonna have more 8K content. And like I said, I could be totally wrong. Buddy could be right on this when it comes to HD and Blu-ray. I was on the bandwagon when Blu-ray came out. Well, actually, I was on the bandwagon when DVDs came out. That was when Toshiba was going against Sony's Toshiba versus Sony, and Sony was all Blu-ray, and then you had some studios that was only doing HD DVDs, and then you got some manufacturers doing only Blu-ray movies, and then so I bought both players, the HD DVD player, and I bought a Blu-ray player. But the Blu-ray player that I got at the time was a PlayStation 3 because that's what I used to kind of like utilize that, and that was when pretty much Blu-ray run because once PlayStation came out with a Blu-ray player on top of a gaming console, that kind of like blew HD DVDs like out of the water. And I know Microsoft or Xbox was trying to utilize HD DVDs as well too. But it was just the thing is that you had to get an add-on feature, and nobody was going to buy that as an add-on. And so, yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. CJ saying over here that DVDs still outsell Blu-rays and yeah, UHDs. Yeah, you know what? You're right, and I think yeah, I do agree with you, CJ, um when it comes to DVDs, because DVDs came out in the mid '90s. Because I still remember that when we first got our first DVD player. And yeah, DVDs are still good. I still got my DVD collection. I still got my Blu-ray collection here and there. I'm not giving away any of my DVDs at this moment, or Blu-ray collection, because I still have my Blu-ray player. But yeah, it's just for me. I like to own physical copies. That's kind of like just me. It's just like this whole digital age, and that's kind of like that's another topic we could probably bring up right now. It just seemed like when it comes to digital copies, it's like nowadays when you kind of like start playing digital games, you had to do an update before you play the game. And I remember back when you was playing the PlayStation or you was playing Nintendo 64 back in the day, you put the game in or you put the cartridge in, you start it. You don't have to do no updates. You just go ahead and play the game. You had to do no type of uh, added enhancements and stuff. What you got in the game is what you got in the game. And now all of a sudden, like every time you pop in the game or when you download a game, now you have to go to a mandatory update. And if you don't do the update, then you can't play the game. And so it's kind of interesting times that we live in right now, that when it comes to the digital age, it's kind of like we at the mercy of the people who develop these games or make these content when it comes to movies and streaming TV shows. So interesting. Let me go ahead and let me look at the comments. I didn't realize a lot of people was commenting on here. I'm going on a little talk, and I didn't realize to say I gotta say hello to everyone. Let me see who else is in the stream. Da, 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 da. I'm gonna say hey, how's it going, Yua? How's everything going over there? Thanks for joining. Oh, you know what? I didn't see this, Ryan. Yeah, appreciate it, Ryan. Yeah, I think we need to talk about the whole AK topic, because a lot of people talk about it. Oh, well, not a lot of people talk about that. I know we do reviews on TVs here and there, but the reason why I really wanted to start bringing this up more is because the PS5 Pro just came out a couple weeks ago, and I mentioned this earlier. And now they have a setting. They have an 8K setting, 8K 30 to be exact, on certain games. And I thought this would be a good topic to talk about. And some games are already utilizing it already. And some people are reporting that it actually works on the PS5 Pro, which I find it kind of shocking that some of the games that output at 8K is very interesting. And one creator who put out a video, Marcus Gaming Tech, check his channel out. He did a update on Callisto Protocol. They have an 8K setting as well too, but he wasn't able to properly review it because he only have a 4K TV. I think that might be something that I might do in the future. Yeah, let me know in the comments if you want me to go ahead and pick up an 8K TV and then do some testing as well on the PS5 Pro. And yeah, let me know in the thoughts, and let me know in chat what your thoughts are. Should I go ahead and pick up an 8K TV just for review, just to see how it compares to OLED and QD OLED technology? I might do, if I don't do it this year, because we're towards the end of the year. I may have to do it first thing in 2025. I don't know if Samsung is going to do another 8K television. That's kind of like another thing we should talk about as well, because Samsung is the only one that is producing 8K televisions besides I think Hisense is doing the 8K television here and there, but it's not really publicly out there. But yeah, I think Samsung at the moment is the only manufacturer that produce 8K televisions. But yeah, let me know if y'all think that would be a good idea for me to go ahead and test out. Yeah, Buddy said that would be a good idea as well too. Okay. Besides that, hold on for a second. Yeah, besides that, let's go ahead and go over the sales. Let me go ahead and share my screen. And I know I beat this QM900D for the longest time. And you know what's funny? So I know SD for a couple, for a long time now, and he picked up the Samsung TV, and he actually liked the TV, but Samsung for some apparent reason they was doing some firmware updates, and they kind of dropped the ball with the I believe it's a QN900B. I believe that SD probably had at the time, and SD you could probably correct me on it, and he used to really like that TV at the time, but uh Samsung dropped the ball with their firmware updates, and I think that was another thing that kind of deterred a lot of people from there. From Samsung 8K TVs, because you paying all this amount of money, and then you have one firmware update, and then all of a sudden they, you know, point their TVs and stuff. So, but yeah, let me go ahead and switch this out. I want to talk about. I am still going to keep up on Samsung, but I want to talk about Samsung S90. Yeah, I think this is still for sale. Let me see here. Oh, you know what? I wanted to share. I was wondering if they had the S90C on available. And the reason why I know that TV is a 2-year-old TV. Yeah, people already took that. Yeah, let me see here. QN900. Yeah, there was a huge sale a couple weeks ago. People was reporting on it that Samsung, Best Buy, and some other TV stores was still carrying the S90C, and it was going at 65 inch. I think it was going around $700, if that, and maybe a little bit more. No, 700, and I think some people was reporting 999, just a little bit under $1,000 for the S90C, and it was on Best Buy. I think a couple of days ago, when the last time I checked, I wanted to go ahead and cover that, but yeah, people went ahead and picked that up, and yeah, now you don't have that deal. So yeah, that was a good deal at the time. Even right now, because the S90C, like I said, I didn't review that TV specifically, but I did review the S95C at the time, and I thought that TV was really, really good. Even though Samsung has been has some issues with the firmware, especially with the S95B, and I had that TV as well. And when it first came out, that TV was amazing, especially when it came to it was a few first QD OLED television that came out during that time. But then Samsung started messing up with the firmware updates. People was getting really upset about it, and then people was finding out that Samsung was doing that to other televisions as well. So it seemed like it was like a widespread thing. But now it seemed like everything seems to be better this year. Where with the D series Samsung TVs, I mean, I could be wrong, but I haven't heard a lot of issues with Samsung TVs compared to the last year and the year before that. So I found that kind of interesting. Interesting none the least. But going back to oh, you know what? Let me go ahead and say that. Yeah, so you did have SD did have the QN 900B, And yeah, the QN9, I had the 65 inch when I was reviewing at the time, and I thought it was a decent TV, but it was just way too expensive. And then at the same time too, there was a lot of bugs with the QN9 900B at the time when I was reviewing it, and I felt that it was for the price that Samsung was charging at that time. I felt that if you're going to come out with a premium product, that you should have no issues with that TV. And it just seemed like each time they put a firmware update, it's like they'll fix something or semi fix something, but they end up breaking something else. And that seemed to be the theme with Samsung during that time when I was reviewing that TV. So I went ahead and just returned it, and then ended up getting the S95B at that time. And I thought the S95B was a great TV on his own too, until Samsung started messing with the firmware update as well, because you had some reviewers that was just talking about the accuracy when it comes to that TV. There's a lot of controversy. So there was a lot of issues during that time, but it seemed like Samsung has gotten better with their firmware updates. But going back to the S90C, let me just see. Excuse me, the S90D. Yeah, right now for a 65 inches, if anyone is looking for a QD OLED and they have to have a QD OLED, so far, 65 inch, going for $1,400. It's not a bad price. I think it should be a little bit lower, especially on Black Friday. I think if they would have shaved off maybe $100 or um, add something to it, maybe like a warranty. Yeah, but so far the S90D is a really good buy, especially compared to, if I'm comparing this to the LG C4, which a lot of people um, were complaining about that TV, and the reason is that it's not about the performance per se. And I always get some advertisements. Oh, this is really interesting. It's just the fact is that they charge in at or more than the S90D, which I find is kind of interesting. As I'm looking at this right now, I have to laugh at. I hate to laugh at LG, but yeah, I don't know why they're charging this amount of money uh for a WRGB OLED. WRGB OLED. Yeah, I don't know why they're charging more for a S90D. I know KG did a review on this TV. He thought it was decent, but going against, yeah, I'm looking at this right now. This is crazy. So you got the Samsung S90D. Let me make sure I'm showing this. Hopefully, everyone can see this on my screen. Let me just wait for this. There's a little bit of a delay. Um, I'm laughing at this because I think this is kind of crazy. So you got a 65-inch C4, LG C4, going against the Samsung S90D. And I'm not going to put the G4 in this range because G4 is considered their premium range TVs. But you pretty right off the bat, in my opinion, the QD OLED technology is far superior than the WRGB OLED that LG is providing. But it's just the thing is that I find it kind of interesting that LG is charging more on the C4 compared to the S90D. And so, in my opinion, just looking at everything, I I don't know why LG is doing this. They shooting themselves in the foot when it comes to pricing, and this TV should be a lot cheaper. I think it should be like at least I would say $300 cheaper than the S90 D, or at least $100 around there. Let's just say that if it's $100 cheaper, so if they're going for $13.99, this should be going for $12.99. And I don't know why LG is even doing that. And so, in the comments, I am looking at CJ right now. He is saying that the processing is better on the C4. to I don't know. I find that very, very hard to believe. And I reviewed the C3 of last year. I need to pick up the C4 this year. I think the C3 at the time was pretty good and pretty decent. But my only issue with that television was the fact is that they were still charging more than the S90C at the time. And the S90, and I felt like the S90C were better than the C4. So I get that when it comes to LG does have some other features. Like I think the only thing they have as an advantage is Dolby Vision. But in my opinion, I don't think Dolby Vision is a selling feature compared to a selling feature because it's like Dolby Vision is okay, but HDR10 I think is great as well because I feel like HDR10 I think you have make more capabilities to customize it compared to Dolby Vision, but that's just my opinion. And I just really don't feel like LG should be. I don't know why LG is charging more for it. I know CJ is saying the processing on this TV, but I don't know. I disagree. I don't think they should be charging $100 more than the S90D. It should be at least $100 cheaper than the S90D. But that's just my opinion. I don't know what other people's thoughts are. Um, and then also too, I think people love LG and they still make their money, their bread and butter for it. But just looking at that, no, I don't think the C4 is worth it at that price range. But let me go ahead and switch to. But what I do think is a pretty good TV is LG B4. Let me bring that up. Now, people who are looking for a nice budget TV, the B4. See, in my opinion, I think this is just my opinion. I think the C4 should have been going at this price, and I think this should be going at just a little bit under $1,000. But I know people in the comments going party saying like, no, the processor and all this other stuff. Hey, I think the B4 is a good TV. I just think the LG is charging too much for that TV, and so yeah. But the B4 is a decent TV. Let me see. I was trying to see if I could come up with a comparison on here compared to other TVs in that range. Um, Let me see here. Give me just a second. Yeah, they got. I'm not going to talk about mini LED TVs. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. Oh, I went too fast. Yeah. So a if I'm looking at the B4 compared to the C4, yeah, I just think that the price that LG is charging at the moment is still a little bit too high. I think the B4 for a 65-inch should be just hovering just a little bit over $1,000, and I think the C4 should be $100 cheaper. I did say $200 earlier, but I think it should be $100 or $200 cheaper, especially going against QD OLED technology. Um, if I'm looking at the X90L, no, I'm not going to even going to bring up mini LED. We'll talk about that in a little bit in a second. But the B4 I've been here, it seemed like it's a decent TV as well too, and it's something to think about. Oh yeah, CJ is thinking the same thing too. Hmm. Oh yeah, let me go ahead and shout out to everyone who is in the stream today. Thank y'all for joining. Just want to say I appreciate y'all just joining the stream just to watch me talk about TVs and technology. That's something that I consider as a passion of mine, and I'm glad people are joining in on that. All right, so we talk about the B4. I'm going a little bit backwards because I was going for the cheaper TVs. Let's talk about LG G4. That is their premium TV. Right now for a 65-inch G4 TV is going for $2,300 for a 65-inch, which is a okay price. I think it's a decent price. But, and I always say but, um, I think the Samsung S95D. Let me see here. Oh, I thought they had this as a comparison. I don't even know why they bought the Bravia. They got the A95L. Yeah, A95. I mean, of course, I would say the A95L would be a better TV um, overall. But I mean, the Sony A95L is a lot more expensive. I thought they would probably bring the Samsung S95D as a comparison. But if you compare this to the S95D, they are going for the same price. And LG G4 is a really good TV, but I still go with the S95D when it comes to the same price. And yeah, once again, I get that LG is, I don't know. I I know they got the micro lens MLA technology on the G4, but for the price that LG is charging for, I still think the S95D would be a better option, in my opinion. QD OLED technology. It just come when it comes to color reproduction, the color volume. QD OLED would be the better TV. I understand that Samsung has dropped the ball with a couple of things when it came to firmware updates, and I know that left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. But I don't know when I compare this TV specifically. I think I scrolled way too fast. Excuse me. Yeah, if I'm comparing this to a G4, yeah, it's just I feel like LG should be like at least $100 cheaper than their competitors. Um, when it comes to the QD OLED technology. I don't know. Chat, what do you think about that? Y'all think that LG is charging too much for their TVs? I think they are. I think they are $100 or $200 too high for what they're charging for. Oh, all right. So I do see in the comments that some people did say that Samsung has messed up some of their firmware updates and stuff. So Dave over here, he said he would pay the extra money for LG just because of some of the firmware updates that Samsung has put out. I don't know anything about the S95D specifically, but so far it's people say it's been a solid TV. I could be wrong. Like I said, as today is this recording, but it seemed like Samsung has been doing a decent job with their firmware. I know that Sony been having some issues with the Bravia 9, and people have been having some real issues about that. But yeah, it seemed like Samsung has been doing a better job. All right, let's go ahead and switch to. Now I'm about to go ahead and switch to mini LED TV. And I know that there's a hot topic for mini LED, but let's go ahead and talk about the Bravia 9. I know people are talking about, oh, the Bravia 9 is way too expensive. Yeah, it's an expensive TV. And I reviewed that TV this year, and I really do like that TV. Is it overpriced? Yeah, it's overpriced. I think Sony has charged. They definitely charge a premium on the Barbie, and I know it's a good TV. I just think that I think it's $500 off for what it should be. Because right now for an 85-inch, you could get it for 4,000. I think it should be around the 34, 3,500 range. Um, like I said, it's a really good TV. I know some people was having some issues with the firmware update specifically. One in particular was the settings. People was having issues where they tried to like switch the picture settings, but it wasn't changing whatsoever on the Sony TV. Some people said that Sony came out with a firmware that may have fixed that. But if there's any Bravia 9 owners in the stream, and please let me know in the chat how y'all feel about that. Um, if it's fixed. But oh, okay. So let me go ahead and pull up CJ. Yeah, CJ did mention that the newest firmware update did fix a lot of those issues. Yeah, but Sony was getting a lot of heat for the Bravia 9 firmware update. And even I'm still rocking the Sony X95K, which y'all can't see at the moment. But I had an 85-inch and I had an issue where they came out with a firmware update and they had this huge blob on the screen. And I remember I had to record it. I put a video out on YouTube. I took pictures, sent it to Sony support. Uh, their technician took a look at it and said, like, it's working as expected. And I remember other people in the forums on the X95K forums was running to the same issue and they was complaining to Sony as well. So I called Sony again, and Sony finally said, like, yeah, the engineers are aware of it, and they're looking into it to see if they could come up with a fix. So, like I said, Samsung, we was giving Samsung issue, but Sony also has some issues as well with firmware, and it seems like it doesn't matter what TV manufacturer you are. Sometimes you just have bad firmware updates. All right, let's go ahead. So we talked about the Bravia 9. Yeah, I think they're way too expensive at the moment. And the reason why I'm saying they're so too expensive for the Bravia 9 specifically is because when I reviewed the TCL, yeah, I don't know why I put lowercase TCL. Let's do an 85-inch QM8. QM. Yeah, if I'm comparing these two TVs together, that's a QM6. Do they have the QM8? Yeah, they have right here. Yeah, for a minute. Oh, did they sell out? Get out of here. Whoa. So this is interesting. So the 85-inch QM8, I reviewed the 65-inch version. I thought it was a good TV, especially it was at $1,000 for a 65-inch. Um, yeah, especially for it was a great price for $1,000. $1,000. Don't get me wrong, the QM8 has some issues. I did say there was some black crush, which was confirmed. I thought it was kind of interesting because I think I was the only one that when I reviewed that TV, I mentioned there was a lot of black crush on that TV. Didn't matter how much I played with the settings, and I was trying to raise the shadow detail. There's a setting on there that you can raise the shadow detail, but when I started to raise it, it seemed like everything else started to go gray for whatever reason. So it seemed like that's something that TCL is aware of, but I think it's one of those type of situations. It's a give and take scenario that they had to either crush a lot of the detail to give you minimum blooming, but give you the maximum HDR impact. But the negative is that you losing that detail when everything started to get crushed. Also, too, I thought the motion was okay. I didn't think it was like great or anything. I noticed when I looked at fast pacing TV shows or even sports and stuff like that, it still needed some work. I still saw some little bit of artifacts. I know I didn't put that in the review, but for the price that TCL was selling that for the QM8, it was a decent TV. The gaming portion, I had some issues as well with it, but I think it was more on my side compared to others. I was looking at the forums and looking at other TV reviews as well too. So I think I was just having issues with my gaming part. So I thought it was just decent, but I think that TCL could have done a better job in that area. But overall, It's a decent TV. I know I talked about mostly the negatives, but when it came to HDR impact, when it came to the features, when it came to the price of that TV, this TV was it's definitely it stacks up there, especially if I'm comparing the QM8 to the Bravia 9. So I'm looking at an 85 inch right now, TCL QM8. It's going for $2,000, and we just saw on the Bravia 9 was going for $4,000. So the Bravia 9 is two times more. The 85 inch version is two times more than the TCL, and I can see why this TV is sold out because you can see right now is unavailable. And those things that I was just mentioning earlier, those negatives that I was like nitpicking on, those are certain things that I'm like really, really nitpicking. But if you comparing like Bravia 9 and the QM8, it's just like still the Bravia 9 had the better picture quality. But the question is that is it really worth that price? And those are kind of like the things that I was kind of like thinking about, like, ooh, do I want to save an extra $2,000 in my pocket, even though I know it's going to be some black crush here and there, and maybe the motion is not the best in town. I don't know. I don't know. I think those are kind of like the for an average consumer or a person who's looking for TV. I think a lot more people is going to go into the TCL QM8 camp than the Bravia 9, and they could save $2,000 to either buy themselves a good home theater system if they want to, or they could just save that money and go on vacation, whatever the case may be. But looking at that price, oh, let me go ahead and go back up here. But looking at that price, the QM8, man, yeah, Sony. I don't know. You got some competition. You know what? Let's go into the 98 inch. You know, I didn't even think about that. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I just you know what? EJ, I just saw your comment. Let me bring your comment up. You know what? I didn't even go into the realm of the 98 inch. And the 98 inch is going for less than what the Sony Bravia 9. Oh man. Um yeah, yeah, I don't know. Sony, I don't know why you're charging that much of a premium for your mini LED TV that um it's not a 90-day difference when it comes to the TCL QM8. You do see the difference when it comes to like if you put them side by side and look at the details of it. But the majority of time, the average person is not going to buy two TVs and put them side by side. Most people are just going to look at it as in like, oh, it's the same technology. Oh, I got the same features. Yet this TV is $2,000 more compared to the TV I'm thinking about getting. They're gonna go with a cheaper TV. So going back to Sony, yeah, Sony. I don't know what you guys are gonna do, but you got a 98 inch TCL QM8 that's going for less than the Bravia 9 at 85 inch, and I think that's a huge issue. I just realized that my screen. Let me see if I could do this. Can't do a side by side. Nope. Let me do this. And mm, yeah, I'm trying to adjust the screen. I'm doing the stream for the first time. Mhm. Nah, I kind of like the other view. I like the other view a little bit better. Yeah, let me see if I can. I just realized my face was hovering around the price, so let me do this. Let's see if this is better. Yeah, I'm playing with the screen right now, so I know people are saying, "What are you doing?" So, give me a second. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Uh, yeah, let me look in the comments. I, yeah, I mean, Sony got the best processor, but Man, that price is yeah, that price is that hurts me. That hurts me, Sony. I'm looking at TCL 98-inch version. If I'm looking for a TV right now, I think I'll go for the 98-inch version of TCL QM8 than getting a Bravia 9. So, yeah, I'm I'm shocked. Yeah, I'm shocked about this. Hold on for a minute. Do they have any? Oh, look at this price comparison. Yeah, I forgot to charge. Hold on for a second. Give me just 1 second. Let me grab my charger. Yeah, give me a second. Let me show this screen right quick. Here, I'm about to charge my computer. So hold on for just 1 second. All right, I'm back. I just realized my laptop charger saying that I was about to end the stream. All right. Okay. So just to recap, Sony, you charging too much for the Bravia 9. Period. Y'all gotta do some price adjustments on there. First I said $500. No, skip that. I think you should chop it by 1,000, at least $1,000 for 85-inch version on the Bravia 9. I get it. You got a great processor. Yes, you are. When it comes to picture quality, you at the top. But when you look at TCL and Hisense, especially for a 98-inch version, selling at the same price, I think there needs to be a price adjustment, Sony. And you got the same features as well, especially the gaming area portion too. I understand that you got a lot more option and customability when it comes to picture settings, but yeah, Sony, you got to do something. TCL, Hisense, good job with the pricing. Keep it up. Be more competitive. But yeah, Sony, you got to do something. All right, so going back to the 98-inch version. So we talked about the TCL QM8 98-inch. Man, that make me really want to. I'm rethinking about this because that's one hell of a price. $4,000 for a 98-inch. Damn, that's a good price. All right, so we got the TCL QM7. I know FOMO did do a review on the 65-inch. I could be wrong. Yeah, 65-inch QM7. He gave it a good review. I think the only difference is that when it comes to HDR impact, the TCL QM8 definitely, when it comes to that, is way brighter compared to the QM7. And I think that's one of the things that it was struggling with. But actually, picture wise, it was pretty similar to each other. If we go into the Hisense on this one, we're looking at the U8 on here. I don't know if this is. I think this is a U8N. Let me go back to this. Oh, this is a U8K. I thought it was a U8. Give me a second. Give me just a second. I'm just scrolling through right quick, trying to find. Oh yeah, we're going to talk about this UX in a minute. Let me see here. I thought the U8N was in. Oh, I thought it was going for. I thought they had a 98-inch as well, but I was mistaken on that. Yeah, look at this. An 85-inch U8N is going for $1,700, and you got the Sony Bravia 9 is charging $4,000. Actually, this is a good price too for an 85-inch. I didn't get a chance to review this TV, but damn, they being super competitive. I could tell you that. But I'm looking at these TV prices. Yeah, sorry if I'm kind of like scrolling through the screen and it looks weird, but I'm more just like looking at this and damn, I'm just shocked. Yeah, these are some really good prices. If anyone is thinking about getting an 85 inch, I think yeah, you can't beat this. Yeah, this is a really good price. I didn't review this TV specifically, but the TCL. I'm going back to the TCL QM8. I reviewed the TCL. Let me go back here. Now this is a Hisense. This is an older year model. Yeah, if you go back to, dang, this is a way better price than the QM8. Yeah, you're looking at 1,700 compared to. Yeah, I was talking about the QM8. I mean, Hisense sound like a good TV too for 85 inch. Yeah, that's a good price. That's a good price. If that's your budget, I know people are talking about DSE. You know what? I didn't even cover that on the QMA. I didn't have issues with the DSE. I'll take that back. There's a little bit DSE with the QM8, but it wasn't as bad as in some other TVs that I've seen in the past. So I don't know. People saying DSE. So I mean that could be a feature, but yeah, the QM8. Yeah, that's one hell of a price. Hmm. All right. So I'm about to go ahead. Yeah, other than that, yeah, this is all I kind of wanted to run down. Does anybody have any questions in the chat? That's a question I want to ask everyone. Anybody have any questions in the chat of about AK topic that we just talked about earlier in the PS5 Pro, and we was talking about any of the sales? I'm about to go ahead, wait a couple of minutes, see if I catch up in the chat. Um, I'm looking at some of the chat right now. People are talking about Sony specifically. Let me go ahead and go back to my screen. Remove this, put this back on. Y'all can see my face. So let me go ahead and go back to the chat. Yeah, Techno, NYC Key. Yeah, Sony is ridiculous with their pricing. So I think they have better processing in the ATSC 3.0 tuner, but still the price difference isn't justified. Hmm. Yeah. I agree with you. But I will say this. So I think I mentioned this in a couple of videos of mine in the past. So I'm probably going to do a update as in what TVs I have right now. But currently, right now, I already talked about. Everybody knows I have the 85 inch X95K, and I have the Sony A90J. Both TVs still running strong, no issues at all. I also still have my Sony A9F. And if people don't remember that TV, that came out in 2018, that OLED TV. And that was the first TV, and don't quote me on this, but that was the first TV where you could use the TV itself as a center channel. I might be wrong on that, but I think I'm 80% sure that I'm right on that. But I use that as my center channel TV, and that TV I have no issues at all. Um, I don't even have any dead pixels. I have no dead pixels with that TV. The only thing that I did had to fix was I had a Sony remote, which I just replaced with today. I had an old Sony remote. Uh, my kids broke the remote by mistake, so I had to go on Amazon and buy a replacement remote. That's the only thing I had issues with. Never had a problem with firmware. Never have a problem playing games on there. Never had a problem watching the news on there. Never had burn in. So I had that TV now for it's officially officially 6 years, and I had zero issues with that TV. So going back to the pricing, I know Sony. I know we were talking about Sony is charging too much for the TVs, and I 100% agree with everyone about that. But the TVs that I do own that so happen to be Sony TVs, I will say that they're quality wise and reliability wise, they've been pretty good. And I haven't had a failure. I'm about to knock on wood right now. Tomorrow may be another day, and my A9F may have some issues, or my X95K may blow up one day, wherever the case may be. But as of right now, I had no issues with a Sony TV, which is good. I know they had some bad firmware updates in the past, but when it comes to the other portions of it, I will say that they do a good job with the reliability, in my own opinion. So just want to kind of like throw that out there for anyone. Um, Besides that, is there any other questions? Hmm. Let's see. Like the chat got disconnected. All right. Well, I'm about to go ahead. Yeah, I'm about to go ahead and end this stream, but if y'all could do me a favor again, I know y'all see a little banner going around. If you guys could give that like and hit that subscribe button and hit the notification. Oh yeah, you know what? Before I go ahead and do that, there is some. It looks like some chats did. Yeah, there's some chats did come in. Oh, let me before I go ahead and end it first because I was about to end it and then I see the chat started rolling in again. SD. Let me see here. Yeah, so let me go by EP. So he said it right then and there. He still got the A8H, and he said still going strong. So that's one thing about it. Yeah, they are charging a premium. I'm not disputing that. Sony is charging a premium, but the reliability factor, that's something to think about. If you think about keeping the TV more than 5 years or up to 5 years, I think Sony may be a better will be the better manufacturer to go with. Um, I haven't had the issue, so I only can speak to myself, speak for myself. But I have owned Panasonic and Panasonic TVs at the time. Never had an issue with those either. I had a Samsung TV and I had multiple issues with the Samsung TV. Even like right now, you guys can see it on the stream, but I do have a Samsung monitor, and I got the Odyssey 7. It's an old monitor. It came out in early, 2000, 2019 when I got it, or 2020. But anyway, that monitor it's okay, but now I'm thinking about upgrading that monitor to something else. But that monitor has some issues. LG, I never had a problem as well with their TVs that much. So I would say they're pretty reliable on certain occasions. I know they had some issues once upon a time. I'm talking about like when they first started coming out with the OLED TVs. I know people was reporting burn in, but LG has been doing a really good job with their burn in, especially if you do get a G4. They have a 5 year panel warranty on there, so they do stand behind their panels when it comes to burn in. But going back to the premium price of Sony, yeah, they charge a lot, but at the same time, you are getting what you pay for in certain occasions. It's just the question is it's up to you if you want to buy it and stuff. So I don't know about TCL and Hisense when it comes to reliability factor. I don't know if their TVs last a long time, so I really can't speak upon that. But they do charge a really good price for them. Also, too, let me go to SD. Um, He said that bad firmware update on the Sony gets patched up, unlike Samsung nerfing, which becomes a prominent fix of the TV set. Yeah, so that's kind of like another thing too. When we was talking about firmware updates, Samsung, they have gotten better, but Samsung is notorious putting some firmware that kind of changed the picture greatly. So that's something to think about as well. CJ, I appreciate you joining the stream, man. Thank you for showing love. Thank you for that. Um, Dave, I definitely appreciate it as well too. I do want to go ahead and comment. You said I agree. SD to the S89C will be my last Samsung. So that's the one that's going on Best Buy right now. So just know that that is a WRGB OLED. So if people don't understand, that's not a QD OLED. I just if they don't know that it is a WRGB OLED. If you guys cool with that, then I guess go with the TV. I haven't reviewed it, but KG did mention that in the last stream about that specifically. So just to get that out there. Um, Let me look at some other chats. He said, I wonder how the G5 is going to improve over the G4. You know what? I was going to end the stream, but it seemed like some people were asking some questions. You know what? Let's go ahead and open this up a little bit more. That is a great question, Marcus. You know what? We could go ahead and talk about the 2025 TVs. I talked about that in the last stream, and I was about to end the stream. And you know what? Now I'm starting to get into the mood to talk about 2025 TVs. So let me see if I could bring up. Bear with me. I thought I had this on a tab. Oh, you know what? Let me do this right now. Bear with me, everyone. Doing this by myself, so just don't make any fun of me trying to find a specific link to show everyone. But I do want to give a shout out to High Def News. He did send this out. Where are you? Oh, you post a lot of stuff. Trying to get this specific link. High Def. He posts a lot of stuff on Twitter. I still call it Twitter, but it should be. I don't think I could find it. Yep, here it is. I found it. I found the source. Because I didn't want to say anything and not give you guys the right source. All right. Y'all ready? Okay. Let me share it. Boom. Okay. Now I'm getting a little bit better with the streaming. All right. Going back to this. All right. Y'all can see this right now. Let's talk about the G5. Going back to the original question. So, wondering what they're going to do with the improvement with G5. To answer that question, I really don't know. Samsung probably going to do an implement of a more of an upgraded version of the MLA technology. More than likely, it's going to get brighter. How much brighter is yet to be determined. But one thing that I'm hoping that they will fix is the gaming portion of when it comes to SDR gameplay. I know KG always been talking about this every single year, and the G4 has done a little bit better in the SDR gaming area, but he would like to see more improvements when it comes to HDR gaming. But because he's an advocate, because I know he plays a lot of Nintendo Switch and a lot of old school games. I know LG has gotten better this year, but he like to see more improvements when it comes to gaming. It would be nice because their gaming monitors have this feature. Maybe they might do 4K at 240 hertz. That's a possibility. I know we don't have a lot of gamers that play at that high frame rate, but that would be a nice selling feature for PC gamers who like the 240 hertz. I know we got 144 hertz right now. Maybe push the envelope more next year and do 240 hertz. Who's to say? What else I would like to see from the G4? Yes, I would like to see the TV brighter. Um, they do a good job with their picture settings. LG has been known with that. The OS system, I do like to see improvements in that area. Now this is just me, in my opinion. I think LG could do a little bit better when it comes to their interface a little bit, but that's just me being nitpicky. But that's something would be a good benefit. To be honest with you, I don't know what LG has in store. Uh, I know it's going to be a little bit brighter when it comes to the G5. As in how much brighter it's going to be, that's yet to be seen. But at the same time, too, there's going to be there is a drawback by doing that. If you get to a certain brightness, there's trade offs when it comes to the color volume, and that's people talk about all the time. And compared to the QD OLED technology that doesn't have that issue, that's something to see. Um, what I like to see on the C5, I don't think we're going to see too much of a upgrade compared to the C4. It looks like from what I'm looking at on the screen. I don't know if I can zoom in a little bit. It looks pretty identical. I will be shocked if they do if they do the MLA technology on the C4. I mean, on the C5. I don't think they will, but that's me hoping that they do something. Um, if we talking about, yeah, this is going through the screens right now. You don't see. I don't know if we're gonna see too much of a difference of the G5. I could be wrong. They probably might have something that's cooking up in the background that has some special sauce that we don't know about. But one thing I did talk about last week is that Samsung is maybe coming out with an 83-inch version of the QD OLED technology, and that's something that which was leaked out on Reddit and stuff. So I'm very curious about the 83-inch S95F because they're skipping the E, so they're going with F. So I don't know. That would be interesting as well too. That TV is something that I might get in the future. No promises. I'm just throwing it out there. But I always felt that QD OLED technology is the better technology. Now, get me wrong. Something may come in next year that may blow my socks off. But right now, yeah, it seems like QD OLED seems to be the better TV. Uh, Let me see here. Now the question is, um, since Samsung may be coming out with the 83-inch version of the QD OLED, Sony may be doing the same thing as well too. So, but if Sony's coming out with an 83-inch QD OLED version, then they're gonna charge an arm and a leg. Who knows? They might charge $8,000, just like how they did on the 890J. But I don't know. I don't know if Sony is gonna Sony or what Sony got cooked up underneath their sleeve as well too. What they have underneath their sleeve or what they have in the background. They probably I know they got something cooking up. I don't know if they're gonna improve on the Bravia 9 or not, or whatever they're gonna call it for next year. But the next top of the line mini LED TV, I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do. But you know what? Since we did talk about 8K a little bit, um, Sony may be coming out with an 8K television. I don't know. I'm spreading rumors. I'm not saying it if it is or it isn't, but that would be interesting if they do come out with 8K. And the reason why 8K television, the only reason I'm saying that is because of the PS5 Pro. Now they got a setting for the 8K setting. So hopefully, I don't know if Sony may bring out the Z9 whatever version. So that would be interesting if they do that. Um, this is me just speculating, but yeah, 2025. I think it's going to be an exciting year as well, just like 2024. Well, I also would like to see how the Sony, Hisense, and TCL is. So hopefully, they have all HDMI 2.1 instead of just the two ports. That's one because the limitation of the MediaTek chip. So hopefully, we have all four HDMI 2.1 capability of full bandwidth. That would be kind of like my big wish list. And then also too, I really hate the settings where you had to dive into a Sony setting where you had to toggle between Dolby Vision and 4K 120 VR, non VR. It's just like I kind of wish I don't have to do that settings because in Samsung and LG you don't have to toggle like you have to do with Sony. Sony, so that's something that I would like to see in the future. Um, Let me see. Yeah, other than that, that's my speculation. Any other? Let me see here. Let me go ahead and stop. Hmm. Is there any other questions? Yeah, I think the only thing that's interesting for 2025 is the 83-inch version of the Samsung QD OLED. So, uh, yeah, that is pretty much it. Well, let me see if there's any other questions in the chat. Yeah, let me go ahead and catch up. Oh, and then I think next week for the stream, I'm probably going to talk about more about 2025 a little bit more because I know I've been talking about Black Friday, but yeah, because CES is coming up around the corner. It's coming up real quick, so we're going to talk about that. Hopefully, I get KG on the stream soon, or I might be on this stream depending on our schedule, depending on the conflict. But yeah, let me go ahead and yeah, I'm about to go ahead and end the chat. Just like I mentioned before I was about to end the chat, if you guys can do me a favor by hitting that like button and the subscribe button. I am going to try. I'm going to put out a video next week. I was going to do it this week, but I was running into some scheduling issues, so I was going to drop a video. But I'm going to drop a video next week. But I'm going to do a lot more streaming in the future because of the end of the year. And I think I like this a little. I like this format a little bit better. Let me know if you guys like this format because I kind of like to talk, be off the cuff when it comes to streaming instead of just me editing videos and stuff. I like to get more of the interactions of the crowd, more as in what y'all want to talk about. But yeah, do me a favor, hit that like button, the subscribe button, and set the notifications as well too. Appreciate everyone joining the chat for today. And until next time, I see everyone on the next stream and next video. All right, take care, everyone.